podcast, PTL. We finally got the whole crew. Ray joined us. Let's go. Round of applause.
How you doing, everybody? Thank you. Feels good to be back.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And again, thank you all for the support. We started the reaction videos, been doing pretty well. We're going to be pumping out some more of those this week. You'll be seeing a couple more reactions. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. And we'll get right into the podcast. Leading off the news, I think it's probably the most important news. I don't know, for me. Nickelodeon is coming out with its new Super Smash Bros. Style game. Includes Rugrats, TMNT, and more. Did y'all see this?
I sent it to you.
Okay. Yeah, it's interesting, man. It'll be a little bit competition towards Super Smash. I don't think it'll get to the level, but I'm looking over some of the characters and it looks fun. It looks like it'll be a good time, but I mean, I'm personally not gonna pick this up. I don't know about you guys.
Well, I don't know if I don't know if I'll pick it up, but
that image right there, like what's his name, whatever that Ninja Turtle guy is.
Yeah,
Leonardo.
No.
Which one? The blue one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it Leonardo?
I think it is Leonardo. Yeah. Yeah. It says it's gonna have Leonardo. It's gonna have Helga. It's gonna have Patrick Star from SpongeBob. Yeah. Zim, Zandy Cheeks, and I even heard or read
Zandy Cheek.
Sandy. I even read they're gonna have the Avatar Yang or whatever on there. So
Avatar. Oh damn.
yeah.
I think that'd be pretty cool, dude. I mean, just those characters, something like Smash Bros.
And
Maybe you play Smash Bros.
If it's free, I'll pick it up just to try
It's
it
not
out.
gonna be
free
free.
99. Let's go.
I mean, that's like old. Like this is OG characters, man.
Yeah,
like,
it is.
Helga, Hey Arnold. Like, how many people? Like, I mean, how many young kids are gonna know like half of these characters? I mean, that's just like these are like our cartoons growing up. Like,
Yeah.
Reptar from Rugrats. I mean, do they even have Rugrats anymore?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Oh, they're all grown up.
No, they're bringing them back. The Rugrats. There's a new series coming
They're all
back.
grown up.
There's Rugrats all grown up.
Yeah, but that came out when we were kids
when
too.
we grew up. When we grew up.
Okay, so
So
they're
now
probably
they're
like
like senior citizens, dude.
But I mean, I think it's gonna be cool. It says it's gonna have 20 stages, but I'm sure. Does it say if it's gonna come out for the Switch, PS4, or anything, or PS5,
Yeah, at the bottom.
PS5?
PS4, PS5, Switch, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. It's gonna come out for everything except for PC.
And Switch? Oh no, Switch. No, Switch is there. Okay.
Switches right there.
Yeah.
I don't think so, man. I don't think this is going to be a hit. I think this is going to be more closer to a flop for
Yeah.
real because it's just the lineup isn't strong enough to make a game out of it. Had they like doubled, maybe tripled this list, like,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but even then, like I said, these characters are so old. Like, I
Yeah.
just don't see how it really gets traction, especially when, I mean, games like Super Smash Bros. Already are out there and even Mortal Kombat and other fighting games out of.
Yeah, Tekken and Virtual Fighters, stuff like that. But yeah, this is not gonna do well. It depends also who's doing it. If they're gonna what publisher is doing it and developers are doing it. So if they do a good job, it has to be a really big hit to do something. But I don't think it will. It's gonna flop.
Yeah. I'm trying to see who they're saying it's gonna be from, but yeah. I mean, it could be definitely a flop, depending on if the game itself doesn't work. Like you said, with the developer, whoever does it.
Yeah.
But I thought that was a cool one to start with because there was a lot of traction on that one. The next one here is my guy, 23, the GOAT, coming to Fortnite today, I guess, when we're recording this. So I haven't gone on, but this was kind of rumored to happen. Finally came out, and it's pretty cool. Fortnite's still continuing their, what is it called? Like, they had Marvel, they had a whole bunch of collaborations is the word I'm looking for.
The Icon series where they bring out like actors and famous people in.
Yeah. So just continue to stay relevant. What do you guys think? I mean, I know you guys don't play Fortnite, but
I'll just do a quick one. Sorry, Ray. LeBron's cool and all. I get why they having put him in Fortnite. I know Toon Squad's coming out, so it's gonna be a big thing. But I mean, I really don't care for Fortnite, so it's cool that they're bringing another character in. More money for them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, I don't care for Fortnite too much either. I played it more than you guys, I think, but
Debatable.
you played it a lot.
Season 1, season 2. I played a
we're
lot.
on, what, 14 seasons now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they do a new season like every month.
No, I mean,
I think they killed the game. I mean, I honestly haven't played it, but I'll probably I've been wanting to try it out just to see what kind of stuff they've done.
I was never one of a guy who buys skins anyway on Fortnite, but it's cool. They keep their money going and stay relevant for the kids, I guess. So
Yeah, I bought all of them.
yeah, you spent a lot of money on that one. Ray, what do you think about LeBron?
Yeah, no. I mean, like you said, just another icon like from pop culture, and I mean, they just keep. I mean, I guess they're never gonna run out of people that they can bring in or characters that they can bring in. They brought in even like Alien and Predator and like just crazy things, that are old school. And I'll say, like, I mean, my son Alex, I mean, he plays it a lot. Like he still like he likes getting skins, things like that. And I mean, he mentioned this one. He's like, "Oh, the LeBron James one is coming out." I'm like, "You don't even watch basketball." Like, so like, he's like, "Oh, I want Alien skin," and I'm like, you've never seen the movie, like.
Yeah.
But I mean, it has such a like, I mean, such a pull for the especially for kids, and him and all his little buddies that he's made, all his friends that he's made on the game. They're all like always like changing skins, showing all the skins they have. It's like crazy.
Yeah, that is one thing that Fortnite keeps evolving and keeps doing something different that no other BR is doing. So I mean, that's good for Fortnite doing it, but like I said, I don't really care for it. It's great for the gaming industry. Maybe they'll add skins to maybe Warzone one day or something like that. I doubt it, but maybe they will one day. And it's a good model to look up to when you're trying to make money.
For sure. So this one, we talked about it on the last week's pod, so I kind of figured we touch on it just for an update. The Super Mario 64 that went to auction, and apparently it already sold for $1.56 million in a record auction. And this one was different from the one we talked about last time. It was like a 9.7 that sold in terms of the rarity, I guess, for 870, and this one for 1.6, it was a 9.8 rarity. So kind of crazy. Go ahead.
What is it that makes it so rare though? Like,
I guess
pristine conditioning, and I mean, they send it into a rating company. It's the same with Pokemon cards. You send them in, and like the company rates it to see how mint condition, how not scratched or whatever, stuff like that. If the image is perfectly uncentered, or especially for Pokemon cards, they judge that the Charizard has to be right in the middle. It can't be too far to the right, too far to the left. Mm-hmm. The print has to be pristine to rate this high. I mean, for video games, it's probably a little bit different, but I mean, same concept. I don't know why it's sold for 1.5 million, but it's sold for that much.
I mean, I'm just gonna say, I mean, I had that once. So, I mean, I had.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
I opened it, and I missed out on $1.5 billion. So,
yeah.
15 years later. Yeah, there's some details here that I can't read that Miguel was talking about.
A Legend of Zelda sold 2 days
saw that right now.
For 870,000.
Yeah, so this was just kind of an update because I know we had touched on it, and it's kind of crazy because we were kind of joking that it would go to 1 million a little bit, but it actually went even farther.
Further than 1.5. That's crazy, man. Because we have this game. I mean, I have it sitting there in a closet, just thrown there. I mean, the packaging's all probably somewhere in a dumpster, but the game, if I would have bought 2 or something and kept one in, without touching it. Damn. See y'all.
See y'all.
Buy new friends, dude.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Keeping with Nintendo and more expensive stuff, they're teaming up with Tag Heuer to release an expensive Super Mario smartwatch. When I saw this, I was like, what in the world? And apparently it's just, with Tag Heuer, they're going to be selling this. The commercial here kind of goes through all the features. It'll have Toad, Mario, and as you can see if you're watching, the video, it's all centered around Mario, so it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and from what I read, I think this was part of the 35th anniversary of Mario, but since that whole COVID stuff happened, they pushed a lot of stuff back. And I know they're only making a limited amount of these things, so they're going to be super expensive. It's just what, 2,500?
I didn't
the
see
price tag,
but
okay, yeah. So it's going to be
5% or 3 o'clock. Mario will get a super mushroom and grow in size.
yeah. So it's supposed to be a super limited quantity and sold for expensive.
oh, I see what Alex was saying. The animations, yeah, that's,
Yeah,
it says, for example, yeah, I mean, definitely.
I mean, it's a great collector's item, but I wouldn't pay. I mean, I'm not sure how much it is, but
Hey,
I
you know
wouldn't pay
what?
that money.
I might just buy one and just keep it in prestige condition. You never know.
You honestly could.
They're only selling, you said, a limited amount of these, right?
Yeah, that's what I read in another article. But yeah,
They just sold a 1.56 million, dude. I'm gonna take my chances on this one. I'm gonna take my chances.
I think the real question is, can you actually play the game?
on the watch. So in another article, it says
all that money, you can't even play the game, dude.
Yeah, for sure. It's just animations that it's gonna have.
Yeah.
So limited to 2,000 units, and it's gonna be selling for $2,150. So as soon as they sell out of those 2,000, it won't be available anymore.
I'm assuming it's an Android watch, right? Because
yeah, it's probably Android based.
Yeah, because it hasn't said if it does anything like read text to you and all that stuff, or if it's just strictly like an animation.
I think it is.
Yeah, it's probably just animations.
Because it has the activity goals, like Alex said, as users complete their activity goals throughout the day, certain animations will trigger. For example, at 25% or 3 o'clock, Mario will get the super mushroom and grow in size. So just little things like that.
I mean, that's pretty cool. It's a good collab that they're doing with like a smartwatch, but it just sucks that it's so expensive.
At 6 o'clock, he's gonna go into the little tube, the pipe.
Oh, the bottom one. Yeah, I see
and
it.
then at 9 o'clock, he's gonna get the star.
Damn. Well,
Just can't turn Super Saiyan. Would you get a DBZ one if they came out with one?
oh, that'd be sick.
Not for the price.
Yeah, for how much, dude?
At like 3 o'clock, they turn Super Saiyan.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's kind of weird that more companies haven't, gone into that space of joining with, different IP content and on your Apple Watch or something.
It's kind of weird to me because Mario doesn't really play. I mean, Nintendo doesn't play nice with other companies, and it seems to be having a lot of collabs with other people, which is good for a lot of companies and a lot more money for them too. Because I'm sure they probably let them borrow this IP for a little bit, and they're gonna make a lot more money than these guys are gonna make.
They always pick the weird companies to
that is true, yeah.
With, yeah. But another thing that was brought up here, moving on here, Ninja getting his own character on another game. I'm not too familiar with this game. Raid Shadow Legend. I don't even think I've heard of it. Have y'all heard of it? Is this like,
yes?
What is this?
It's all I know is it's a mobile game.
Oh, it's a mobile game. Okay.
I mean, I don't know what it's about, but I know it's a mobile game.
It's about raiding.
Well, he's getting his own character. I mean, it looks like
it is an RPG though.
I've seen him play this.
Oh, has he? Okay.
And he like rage quit. He got mad.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I saw a stream or something, and like he got wrecked, and I guess he's just not used to getting wrecked, and he just like kind of rage quit on live stream.
Oh wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he'll be playing this once. Yeah, it says here he'll be playing it more.
I think it's kind of like the one that I think you would play, Jesse. I don't know if it was on PC or like through the
like League of Legends or what
type of thing. Yeah, like you go and like you cap, I guess, like a post or something, and like they have
right here.
They're different like spells and stuff.
His character will be usable in all game modes, including single player, campaign, PvE, dungeons, arena, faction wars, Doom Towers, and clan versus clan tournaments. Since the launch of 2018, Raid Shadow Legends has a massive 56 million players.
Dang. That's a
Wow,
lot.
this is a pretty popular game.
Yeah.
All right, let me go to the App Store.
Maybe you have to download that, right?
Yeah.
No, but
Oh, this is great for Ninja. I mean, another place to see him.
yep.
More money for him. He's expanding a lot more, and
They said
kudos to
they
him.
have they said they have 500 unique champions on this game. What? in the
Wow.
world?
That's more than Fortnite.
That's
Check
a
it out.
lot.
I think I actually have it, to be honest.
You play a lot
I
of
know
mobile games, so probably, huh?
Yeah. I think I've tried it out when it first came out, and I was just kind of like, eh. 'Cause it was like, I don't know.
Well, now you can re-download it and play Ninja.
Nah. I'll wreck him. I'll wreck him and make him rage quit on live stream.
Well, Ninja recently has been playing a lot of like the Final Fantasy X1 online, and I've tried to watch it. I don't know if you guys ever played it. It doesn't look good to me, but
It's okay. Yeah.
I've been playing that. Speaking of Final Fantasy what 14 is this?
Yeah.
It's so popular that even the digital version is sold out. What in the world?
I put this up because I wanted to talk to Ray and Alex about this, and I know Alex. We talked about the 9.1 update for retail WoW, and even the most popular streamers, as like Asmongold and WoW streamers, they've stopped playing WoW completely, even though the raid just came out and switched over to Final Fantasy 14. So much that they actually sold out the website even for digital, which doesn't make sense to me. I know it was a pain in the butt for us to like get that account going. I remember that one. We had like 4 or 5 hours of like trying to get that account going, but it's sold out, physical and digital, which is crazy to me because that means server space is completely wiped because everyone's getting back on this game. And they were saying a lot of stuff that the new expansion was going to be so much better, and they're going to keep working on the game now they have a lot more people. So it's a good sign for MMOs right now, especially now that the new one's gotten announced. But Final Fantasy 14 is killing it right now compared to WoW.
Well, I think that says a lot more about WoW than it does
Yeah.
about Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, of course.
I think WoW is in just such a bad spot right now. I mean, you're either playing classic or, you're
Yeah. Just
Shadowlands is just in such a bad place. So I think people are just desperate for that good MMO feel. And I mean, we played this for a while. We had fun with it. I mean,
yeah.
I know we eventually switched over to WoW, but I mean, that was really no fault of Final Fantasy 14. To me, I was playing it. I was engaged. I was looking at content on it. It looks amazing. It's fun to play. So, I mean, it really, I think, shows just how bad WoW is right now.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's one of those things that it kind of makes me want to pick it up again just to play it,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it and all. I mean, it wasn't bad, but just trying to log in.
That honestly turns you off from the game. The fact that we took 4 or 5 hours just to get our account access, because you have to make an account of the game and then make an account with Final Fantasy and then log into whichever one for the game. And it took honestly forever to just log in. And it's for me, it's a big turnoff for this game.
But I mean, they're not selling any more copies because I guess they're trying to expand their server size, or I mean,
that's what I'm assuming, because why else would you sell out digital?
Yeah,
I do know that in the servers there's like limited amounts of housing
licenses or whatever.
Well, like I think you can buy a home in the game, and I think there's a limited amount of homes that are available for purchase. I think it's something like that. And so I'm just thinking maybe that's a part of it. I'm not really
here. It
sure
says that the limitations on presumably have something to do with the player capacity, as a sudden influx of players wouldn't exactly be great on servers. Representatives from Square Enix did not respond to a request for a comment. So that's probably kind of what you're bringing up a little bit.
But I mean, what a responsible response, right? To like, oh no, like our servers are getting blown up. Like, hey, let's slow down.
Stop sales, yeah.
Yeah, until we can get the servers where they need to be and then bring people in. I mean, that's very selfless, right? Like that's a dedication to your customers that you don't really see from a lot of companies nowadays. I mean,
No.
any other company would have taken the money and ran with it and said, "Yeah, yeah, we'll fix the servers in a little bit." But I mean, that's to me, that's like, I mean, good on Square Enix, good on them to say, "Hey, let's do this the right way."
And see what WoW does. They put you on a queue for at least an hour or two. You could be in queues forever, especially like on launch days. You could be in queues for 2 hours waiting. And don't let your computer go to sleep because you'll go back behind the queue. So that is a good point to make, Ray. I mean, good job on them for closing it up until they can expand their servers or something like that.
Yeah.
I'd have to check it out again.
Well, another game that's close to coming out is 2042 Battlefield. I know we touched on it a couple pods ago, and it looks like crossplay is going to be a little different than usual game. The biggest change being it will be a cross-gen game, obviously, but it's only going to be in the generation that you're in. So it'll support like PC, PS5, Xbox X in one group, and then PS4, Xbox in another group. PS4 and Xbox One in another group. So there's also the option for PC and console gamers to opt out of playing together all together. So that means if you're on PS4, you can't play with your friends that are on PS5. If you're on Xbox One, you can't play with your friends that are on Xbox X. So it's kind of weird because, you know, with people still not being able to get their hands on next gen consoles, this is really going to split a lot of people that already have the next gen consoles. And
yeah.
I mean, I know why they're doing it because it says that, you know, a lot of these graphics are meant for next gen, so they want to separate that. But right now in this transition period, I think there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be mad about it.
But how does that matter? Resolution wise, it doesn't matter because if I'm a PC and I have a high end computer and I'm looking at everything at 1080, 4K, whatever, and let's say Ray or Alex have a super low end computer, I mean, we can still play together. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, why would graphics matter whether we can play together?
Apparently, there's like a huge discrepancy on a next gen consoles and the version of that game as opposed to the other platform, mainly in regards to player count. Battlefield will have 128 player matches on the new gen consoles, whereas on the old ones it'll only support 64.
That's just, to me, that's just kind of weird to separate them.
Yeah,
I still don't see a proper
Well, no,
reason for it.
that makes sense in a way. If I'm on PC, PS5, next gen, whatever, there's 128 people, but you know the older gen can only support 64. Well,
but why?
I mean, well, because it's too much to process if they have more than 64 players. Like trying to process 128, that's a lot of like computing power that goes into.
Warzone has 150.
Yeah, but
Warzone.
Battlefield, like, don't like the buildings explode and stuff. Like,
and there's weather.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a technical, genius or anything, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, I can understand that the concept of more players is, more strain on the system. So, but I mean, I don't know.
This game?
Like Battlefields in general, yeah. I used to play Battlefield
4, I think it was 3.
Yeah, 3 or 4. I think they came out with Battlefield 1 that went back to World War 1, and I didn't really like that one.
How long ago was that?
Which one?
The played.
I'd say the last time I really played was, I gotta say, maybe something like 7 years ago. Something like that. I mean, they're really fun, but it's really fun when you can squad up with friends. It wasn't a game that I could just sit and play by myself and get squatted up with random people because, a part of it is like you need to be cooperative with your team. Like you have squads within your team. So like we'll be, let's say, squad A. And so we would say like, okay, well, we're going to hold down capture point B. So we're at B and we're kind of holding that maybe we transition to see things like that. But I mean, you stay as a squad no matter what you're doing. You stay as a squad. When you're like with randoms and they spawn on you and then they just leave, they'll grab a Jeep and take off, and you're like, okay, well, thanks for the help. Like, so
Yeah,
I think it's fun as a team.
Just for a little bit more clarification, it says because of the smaller player count, that means that the maps on the older gen PS4, Xbox One are going to be smaller. So that's why, since they're going to be different size maps, that's why the maps are going to be bigger on next gen, and the maps are going to be smaller on. So they're actually changing the size of the map for graphic purposes. So yeah,
well, I hope they do like a free what do they call it, like a free trial type thing.
Yeah, well, there was I think another article that it's going to be free. So, but they haven't the game itself.
The game is going to be free?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Or some form of like free mode. Maybe not the whole game, but like there's going to be like a free.
They'll probably sell you a battle pass or something.
Yeah,
because they already said there's going to be no campaign.
Yeah,
it's only going to be multiplayer and Warzone. Or
we talked about it last
Royale.
time. Yeah, well, I don't think they confirmed the battle royale, did they?
Oh, it's 128 versus it's 64 versus 64 or something like that, right? So it's like a multiplayer only.
Yeah, there was like one mode that they haven't announced yet that everyone's expecting it to be a battle royale. But pretty cool. I mean, if it's free, I'm sure that's something we're gonna pick up. Hopefully, it's optimized way better than Warzone, and it's not like a terabyte.
Oh yeah, install size is gonna be stupid. Yeah,
that's crazy, and they need to do obviously better with the handling the cheaters than on Warzone, because
and not just War. I mean, Apex too is getting killed with cheaters. So
is it really? Don't they have an anti-cheat?
I think they do, but I was reading something about that.
Kind of. Oh wow! We'll bring it up the next time.
Yeah, I'll look for it for sure. Something that we always bring up. This is a theme on our podcast: Zelda.
my favorite part of the show.
We talked about Zelda Skyward Sword, and we got some new details on. So I read some more on this because Miguel had the information. This was like one of the big Zelda games on the Wii U, but it never popped off because the Wii U honestly kind of sucked. It wasn't as good as when the original Wii came out. But apparently, like with the Wii U, you had that remote that looked like a sword, and so to patch this into the Switch, what they're doing now, it's not going to be, your normal. It says Y for attack, B for jump. Instead, you have to swing your sword by flicking the Joy-Con stick up, down, left, or right to produce the directional slashes. But not only do you have to change that, but if the enemy, like it shows here in the picture, opens the mouth, it says here, if an enemy opens their mouth, I guess, and it shows a horizontal, you have to like do a horizontal, like it's like certain attacks. Yeah. And it says, here it is. It requires you to watch their mouth movements when open. When it opens sideways, a horizontal slash will slice it in two. When it opens down the middle, you will need to flick your Joy-Con stick up and down. It means you're constantly watching enemy movement, knowing rhythm, and calculating when to strike. So it's a far more strategic process than your typical RPG.
Yeah, that's hard.
When the game first released, it was really meant for that Wii remote to move around. So now and it was a pain in the ass for a lot of people because a lot of people did not want to do that. For that reason, it had a very, very poor sales for the Skyward Sword for the Wii. So now that they're remaking it for the Switch and they're optimizing the controls, now there's like a lot more stuff you can do. Like if you hold the L button and the right thumbstick, that moves the camera 360 now. Before you didn't have that. You didn't have camera movement at all. It was kind of like that Mario game where it would switch, by itself. So it's really, really annoying. Now they have the actual free 360 movement. Without holding the L button, you have the right thumbstick is your full control for the sword. So you, like Jesse said, you have to watch out for this guy's attacking from the right, attack from the left, or block from the right, or stuff like that. So they're making it optimized for handheld mainly, and obviously you're gonna be playing on your TV. But they're also optimizing a lot more stuff, like the cutscenes, like we talked about last time. The cutscenes are gonna be able to be fast forward. The save files are gonna be able to do faster. I can't think of anything else.
That's gonna be difficult, dude. Like you're gonna always have to constantly be paying attention to what they're doing, where they're looking at, like all that.
But is that the point you play the game, not to just be like on your phone while you're playing?
Not like specifically looking at, oh, he opened his mouth, or he horizontally.
I mean, it's strategic.
Well, it says if you're somebody who loved Breath of the Wild, you wanted a Zelda game with a meatier narrative or more interesting lore, the Skyward Sword HD is for you. If you're in the mood for a hearty adventure through wild and colorful worlds, it's also for you. So it seems like it's going to be a pretty solid Zelda game that, not like Miguel said, not a lot of people played because of the way the Wii U was the controls. So
yeah, the controllers were really.
Gonna let us know what's up.
I will check it out. It comes out Friday. This is probably be the last time we talk about it. You know, sadly, unfortunately.
No. We'll talk about the gameplay, how you like it.
I will be talking about it next time, just my reviews.
Comment below if you want Mike to continue to talk about
it. Please. Hopefully they announce a new Zelda, because I'm still waiting for that 35th anniversary Zelda from Nintendo that they broke my heart with, that they haven't announced.
Well, I guess we'll see, huh?
Yeah.
All right, so now that our Zelda segment is over, this next one is Stadia. It says that they're going to be giving developers and publishers a bigger cut of sales. So with the competition now of Xbox and their xCloud coming in, it's the I don't know what to call this, like cloud gaming, I guess. Competition is heating up, and so it says after October 1st, they will receive 85% of sales revenue, with Google taking a 15% cut. The split applies to the first $3 million in sales and will only be placed until the end of 2023. So it's kind of just a way to get developers on their platform for a few years to try to compete with what Xbox xCloud is doing, which is, I think, where it's going to go ultimately. Have you guys heard of, Ray, Alex, xCloud? Have you all been keeping up with all that stuff at all?
No idea.
Well, the xCloud is like the Xbox Game Pass, but they're now doing it. The biggest release, we talked about it last
streaming.
time. Yeah, it's streaming games is on the iPhone. So it finally came out on iOS, so you can, have your Microsoft or Sony controller Bluetooth, and you can play games now on your iPhone through, if you have the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. And so for $15, you're getting all those games. You can play it on all PC, console, and now you're getting it on your phone. Freaking crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. And so I guess Stadia is trying to stave off what they can,
yeah,
please come.
You kind of hit it out the park on this, and just see, it's really what they're doing is trying to get people on here. They see Xbox xCloud is hitting off with a bunch of games. They're giving out a bunch of games every month. They come out with more and more games, and there's NVIDIA GeForce that's also doing streaming. PlayStation is trying to get into it, but not as much with PlayStation Now. And now, Stadia has been around for a little bit, but I think this is their final push to try to make this work, because it hasn't been working for them. And this is a big thing for developers. It's kind of like what Epic does, that they tell them, hey, come put your game with us, and then we'll give you for the first 1 million, you won't have to pay us, and you can use our engines for free if you come with us for a whole year. So it's kind of the same thing that Google's doing. And it's a good strategy, but I don't know how. Not a lot of people have Stadia, so is it worth for the developers and publishers to make it? Probably not.
I feel like Google is always coming up with things, like they're just constantly coming out with stuff, and and then they're not afraid to fail. It's like, okay, it's not gonna work, and they move on. But they're always coming up with things, and then other companies come in and take that thing and make it better.
Yeah,
like that always happens to Google.
They're good at starting, just not ending.
Yeah. But I thought it was kind of cool trying to heat up that cloud. But the next one, Call of Duty, is getting its first objective base mode, the Warzone game. So this is going to be a new type of game. I don't know if you guys are still playing Warzone, but here's what you can expect from the new mode when it goes live. Payload split players into 2 teams of 20. They are tasked with either escorting or attacking vehicles transporting satellite parts. Each team must complete their objective within the designated time limit. As usual, you can use custom loadouts or kill streaks, including a new sentry gun from the Black Ops Cold War, To help your side clinch victory, you will also be able to buy and build obstacles to stall the vehicles on the tracks.
Just read the very last sentence. That's all I want you to read.
Yeah, this one?
No, the very last one. Go down.
As for the file sizes, the Warzone update will range from 8 to 9 gigs on the Xbox. What this kind of reminded me, wasn't there a mode that we all played, I think, together, where it's like you take the truck and then you save off people and then you have to go in. I forget which one it was. It was like a Call of Duty, like the truck would start moving and we'd have to like defend certain thing, and if it got all the way to the end. Doesn't it kind of remind you of that?
I don't know.
You're talking about it was Call of Duty where it's like the 3 tanks.
Yeah.
And you have to get them to like the flag or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I think I played with Alex and Josh. I think you, Miguel, and Ray hopped on a couple times. But this is cool.
Right.
I mean, just a new player mode. I mean, I don't really like playing the Battle Royale Warzone anymore for various reasons. What about you guys?
I mean, it's different. I mean, I'm glad to see some content like coming out. I mean, they're just trying to keep people involved, but I think, you know, instead of just fixing your issues, like you've got cheaters that are hackers that are like ruining the game, like it's not fun. And you know, when you've got issues like that and you're just, oh well, instead of fixing that, let's keep launching new content, you're avoiding the big problem. They'd be better off just by fixing their Warzone and keeping that going, in my opinion. But
yeah,
I completely agree with that. They're just trying to pump out as much content as they can just to keep relevant, but people are hating the game for this reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely gonna.
We played Warzone.
Yeah, it's been a lot, mostly because it's starting to not run well on my computer. It's an older one. You guys got the new stuff. I'm still running on older GPUs over here, and but I think that it's gonna be something cool that we can try. I'm always.
I thought you were gonna say you're running out of disk space.
Well, that too.
This game is stupid big.
That too, definitely.
for sure.
But back to Final Fantasy. This one popped up. Square Enix says Final Fantasy X3 story synopsis exists, and there's a possibility that the game could be in the future. So I think for a lot of us here, this was one of the most popular Final Fantasy story.
It's the best Final Fantasy. I'm gonna say it. The best Final Fantasy.
That's kind of hard.
The best Final Fantasy.
Ooh, a lot of shaking. A lot of shaking.
Nope.
Oh, it's better than Zelda.
Final Fantasy, dude. No, dude. Okay, I used to think Final Fantasy X was the best. I will say it is so good. Like, not denying that is definitely really, really good. But when I went back to 7, like,
wait, the 7 original or the remake?
7 original, dude.
Okay.
I
was gonna say remake doesn't count.
Yeah. So like the original Final Fantasy 7, I mean, it's such a strong game. And I've always been told that, but I never got around to playing it. So when the remake, before it came out, I started playing it. I mean, this was in the year, like 2019 or 2020. I mean, that game is so old. The graphics are so dated.
Yeah.
It was just such an amazing playthrough. And I didn't even go as far as to do all of the end game stuff that exists and all that stuff. I mean, it is such a great game. I mean, for its time, like if you're going like, you know, the day it released Final Fantasy 7 versus the day it released Final Fantasy 10, like in that era that they got released in, Final Fantasy 7 is better. But like, I mean, obviously the graphics on 10 and everything is so much more updated, everything. So again, for its time, when the time that it came out, Final Fantasy 7 is the best Final Fantasy.
Debatable. I haven't played Final Fantasy 7. I need to play Final Fantasy 7 and I'll get back to it, but I won't be done by the next pod. I can say that.
Well, maybe
it's a super long game.
Well, the Toriyama, I guess he's one that works there. He said that the probability is not 0 for this X3 to come out, but they're not in a phase where we can talk about it unless we have finished producing Final Fantasy 7 remake. So But I thought the remake was already out. Are still working on it, or
The remake it. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I got this. So Final Fantasy VII is such a long game. When they're doing the remake, because of just like the immense scope of it, they broke it out into multiple parts. We don't even know how many parts as of right now, but only the first part came out. And just to like give you an idea, like all of Final Fantasy VII remake part 1 takes place in like the city of Midgar. That is the first city that you start off in the original Final Fantasy VII, and then you go on to see like the rest of the world, dude. But the whole first Final Fantasy VII remake part 1 was just the intro city, dude.
So it's like completely new content then, because
they're adding so much detail to it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to understand, like when Final Fantasy the original came out, I mean, it was like that where you get like little backgrounds and stuff where it's just like
nothing
white.
moves,
You know,
and it's
like,
just a solid background. Yeah.
This city is like, they made it to where now you can walk through it. It's like fully 3D. I mean, it's next gen graphics, things like that. So they rebuilt the game completely. They expanded the narrative, like the storylines and everything. So it's more in depth, 100%.
Well, I don't remember the last one that I played, bro. Like it's like back in the day when I was like 9 or something.
Well, I didn't.
That was when Final Fantasy X came out, probably.
Yeah.
All I remember is that little blue dude.
Yeah, it's this guy right here.
The hat. No,
not the blue guy.
Oh, you're talking about Vivi. That's from Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah, it's from 9.
Remember like that.
Well, I think I didn't play. I played 10, but I didn't play the 10-2, which is like the one with the girls, right?
The girls, yeah. It was okay. It wasn't as big as 10, but it was still a good, continuation. I don't remember a lot of it because I know I replayed Final Fantasy 10. I never replayed Final Fantasy 10-2.
Wasn't that like having more to do with like chasing treasure and stuff like that?
Yeah.
10-2?
Yeah. I don't want to spoil it. I mean, even though it's been out for like ever now.
You can't spoil that no more.
No.
But I mean, I'm down for more Final Fantasy games. I haven't played since like 10, because then 11 was online or something, right?
Yeah, 11 was online, and 12 was like never to be heard again. I don't remember what it's about.
The new one was, which one was the
13? 13 was with Lightning, and that one has like 3 parts also. And then 14 is the online one, and then 15 is the newest one.
Yeah, you played that
16,
one, right?
Yeah. I platted that one. I got super into it, man.
Yeah, I never finished it, but it's a good one too. And 16 got announced, but it's supposed to be for PlayStation only.
If you're looking to get into a Final Fantasy VII remake, it's like you can't miss, nice, dude. Right. It is so good, dude.
I just remember, I think it was Final Fantasy 9 or 7. I would be at your house, Ray. You would be playing it, and I had the book. I'd be like, okay, you need to go here. The guides back then.
Yeah,
the guides.
We print out the walkthroughs, dude.
The walkthroughs. Yeah. Are like, all right, go here. You gotta get this special chest. And then...
Well, what was cool about 9 is it was 2-player. You could split your team. Like one person would control 1 to 3 players, and the other person would control. So we would do it where I would control 2, you would control 2. But then in the overworld, like only player 1 would yeah. So Jesse would read, I would walk around, and then when we go into battle, we would both, play and fight.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, more Final Fantasy. We'll see what they come up with. 7.
They're available for the Switch too, just so you know. So if you want to kick back and play Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2,
what is available?
I know you guys play for your Switches all day, so.
Yeah, I play mine all day, so I might check it out.
Yeah,
it's when I lay down and stuff. I think it's actually full battery right now.
Yeah, it's been charging for like 4 years.
That's hilarious.
Nah, I'll probably jump back. I want to try it because I've only played Final Fantasy when I was younger, so now I'd probably try it out just to see how it is.
And honestly, there are really, really good stories. It's single player, obviously, but it's really, really good stories when it comes to these Final Fantasy games. You can't miss with these games, whichever one you pick. I mean, I know some are better than others, but still, overall, they're really, really good stories.
Nice. And last time we kind of hit up on this next article about a chair, a D-Box. Well, apparently now Cooler Master, not only are they helping D-Box with a chair, they're coming out with a giant egg that you can use to game and work inside. It's like a little pod. And I have the pictures up here if you're watching.
Dude.
If you're not watching, it looks like, think of like, I don't know, Dragon Ball Z when Goku's in that chamber, but without the water.
Incubators, yeah.
But without the... And it's like all LED'd out, purple. There's a chair, and apparently here you can hold a big monitor as 49 inches, or if you prefer a multiple monitor setup, you can do 327 inches. And there's a hidden compartment where you can connect all your PC and gaming with a built-in sliding tray. It's going to be around $14,000 because it has a massager and
just.
Oh my god!
14,000.
Yeah.
We order a couple of them for the pod, and we just do the pod there.
I mean, guys, this is where you gotta subscribe, and share this channel so we can buy some of these game pods.
This is crazy, man.
All between 12 to 14.
Yeah, features RGB lighting, an ergonomic recliner chair with an adjustable head and footrest, and a 2.1 surround sound audio. I mean,
that's like
it's insane,
bro. That's a vehicle.
Yeah,
a small vehicle. Yeah,
you're just gonna fall asleep in there. It's gonna be so comfortable, and it's massaging you, man. Like, that's crazy, man.
I mean, do you actually think they'll sell a bunch of these? I'm sure they're not gonna, they're gonna mass produce these, but I mean, they made it for a reason, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, there's an emerging market because it's saying here that Acer has a similar product, and Project Brooklyn just released theirs or showed off theirs at CES, an immersive gaming chair. Now, at this price point, obviously, like kind of what we talked about on some of this stuff at that price point, it's like who really is your market,
Yeah.
Someone's like, you're making a $15,000 enclosed gaming egg and it only has a 2.1 surround. It's designed way it was designed. You can have at least a 5.1, 2 speakers behind the chair, 2 in front, 1 in the center.
I mean, now you're nitpicking at all these.
I mean,
I'm looking at the price.
Yes,
I'm looking at
got
the
a very
price.
valid point though, dude. Like,
Yeah, dude.
you're paying 15,000. Like, yeah.
They're like, nah, go with 2 speakers.
Yeah, this isn't good enough for me.
You can easily make something like this for like 1/3 of the price.
Honestly, just give it to your biggest streamers and see what happens.
They're gonna complain about those 2 speakers.
Oh, okay. I'm sure they'll find a reason to complain.
They're like, I can't hear my surroundings. I only have 2 speakers.
I guess the question is, at what price point would you consider getting an egg? Like, what's the price point for regular consumers where it's like, because it is kind of, well, it is kind of like when you're sitting in your chair, like it does start to like, if you could just kind of roll and thing kind of moves with you and you adjust with
like,
you.
Is that what this is? Like, if I lean back, it's gonna lean back like with stuff?
Yeah, it's like, I
don't think so.
Because the bottom, doesn't it move?
I think so. I'm not seeing.
I just think it's a really comfortable chair. It doesn't look like it's.
What are we talking about? Like 2,000, 3,000?
I would say top price 3,000, and it comes with like a screen at least.
One screen.
A nice 49-inch screen. Yeah.
Oh.
Nah, I'm with Miguel. Like, if you're talking about reaching your average gamer, like, it's gotta, if you're spending 3,000, it's gotta have everything.
Yeah.
With it. I'm thinking, like, for me, I was thinking like, the way you would reach people is like closer, in my opinion, to like $1,000.
Oh yeah, for sure.
1,500. Like, if you're talking about your average gamer, not.
Bro, some of these comments are just. There's one that he's like, for that price, it should have better audio, include multiple HD monitors, and give you whenever you want.
Oh my god.
God. But it's true, man. That's just over. Oh, that's like overkill, dude. I would keep it under like at top. I would pay is like 4,000, and that's like pushing it. But
Here comes the cup holder.
when's the
Gold.
cup?
Yeah, that's
true.
it.
No cup
Sold.
That's it, dude. That's what I was waiting for, dude.
Yep.
Well,
Insane.
this last story here, we talked about Stadia, and apparently now Netflix is getting into games, and they said they're adding it next year. We kind of talked about this, I think, on the first or second pod about Netflix becoming a player in the games, but now apparently they hired former EA and Facebook / Oculus vice president of game development, which certainly says here that implies that Netflix is looking at creating its own games rather than licensing it out. And they say the idea is to offer video games on Netflix streaming platform within the next year, and the company doesn't currently plan to charge extra for the content. So, kind of confirming that article that we read last time. Kind of crazy. I don't know what they're really going to offer though.
I guess they can't do that. I was going to say, I can see this going the other way. I mean, they hired EA executive or whoever he was just to make shows out of games, and then they have the Oculus guy to make it more VR shows. But then, I mean, you'd have to purchase licenses and stuff like that, so that doesn't make sense. I mean, I guess they're trying to compete against Apple and their arcade stuff. They're doing arcade games, so this could be a good way for them to get into that market with them. Now that Apple's getting into the show market.
Yeah. I mean, it's all this competition. They're trying to see who's coming out on top. Netflix already has the subscribers, so if you can incorporate the game into it, they can stave off. But I think Game Pass is ultimately going to win because they kind of have the big lead.
Well,
Yeah, but what kind of games do you think about running on Netflix? They have no control. They have no system. You're talking about, I mean, streaming games, but
It's not mobile gaming for Netflix.
yeah, I think mobile gaming would be the best for them.
What are you going to say, Ray?
no, I mean, and you know, with them not raising the price, and that was one of the things that I had read was like, how are they gonna like, you know, how are they gonna determine like how much of the game make money, like who gets what money and things like that? Like they're saying if it's based on like playtime, then developers, if they bring, you know, third-party developers into it, that they're gonna design them so that they're long and grindy, so that people will stay stuck on them and stuff like that. Like they're like, was that really what we're looking for? So I don't know. I mean, you know, ultimately, like Netflix, and I mean, just with so many shows that they're coming out with, like, I mean, they've flooded Netflix with like originals, which,
Yeah.
I mean, so many of them are good, but so many of them I've checked out. I'm like, oh, it's like I'm not watching this. So, I mean, it's really hit or miss, and now they're bringing games into the mix. Like, are they also just going to be hit or miss? Like, I mean,
yeah, and there's no way they don't increase their prices. Honestly, they increase their prices almost every year, and there's no way they don't increase the prices on this.
Yeah,
I see that happening.
Yeah, or I mean, and if they're going to keep it together where they're saying, well, we're not going to charge an extra fee for the games, then they, I mean, eventually prices are going to go up, and they're just going to justify it by saying we're providing content, but
Stuff, yeah.
is it good content? Like, can we cut out some of the bad ones and make it cheaper?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
well, we'll see what ends up happening, but it's kind of, you know, this cloud gaming man is finally starting to come. I know there was a lot of, you know, in the past, different companies trying, and to me, the way Netflix had the lead, I feel like Game Pass is already there. That have the lead, they're continuing to buy studios, continuing to pump out games. So, kind of interesting to see where this heads. But that's all we have for y'all today. Thank y'all for coming in, tuning in to the podcast. Don't forget to like, follow, and share. Any last words from all of y'all?
thanks for watching.
Skyward Sword. Everyone get it. Everyone play it.
Comment below some games to talk about.
Yep.
Yeah.
True.
Any ideas, and let us know what you guys think. But we'll see y'all next time. Peace.